Yeah, just put it down. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Muna,
Hello, my name is Kimo.
and this is Muna's TV show. So if you're new here, welcome, and if you just came back to my channel, thank you for stopping by. So today we're doing something different in a different scenery, as you can see.
Yep, we're out in nature. Check out the background, don't miss that.
Okay, so we're gonna do a Q&A today. We're gonna let you guys know a little bit more about us. So we're gonna ask questions and answer them as honestly as possible. So if you guys do like this and you want more of this, please leave it in the comment section and we might do more on our next vlog. And if you like this video today, please like it, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. So we're gonna start this Q&A today, and I hope you really enjoy it. So there's questions in my phone, and I'm just gonna keep asking them, and we'll go from there. All right, do you have anything to say before we start?
Thank you for watching.
All right, so one of the first question I want to ask is, who are we and where are we from?
So my name is Kimo and I'm from Jamaica originally, born and raised, and I'm now living in the UK.
All right, and I am from Gambia. So my name is Maimona, but I like to call myself Mona. So I'm from Gambia. We call it the smiling coast of Africa. Maybe it's because we smile a lot. And it is in West Africa, and it's a tropical island. And yeah, that's where I was born. Anything else you want to say? All right, next question. How did we meet?
We met in college. I think it was Lewisham College. Yes, Lewisham College. That's where we met.
His answer is short and sweet. So we met in college in April of 2014. In April of 2014, and I got into school first, but then he came over a couple of weeks later, and I remember seeing him and going, oh, this guy is really handsome. And yeah, so we met in Lewisham College in 2014 in April, and yeah, that's how we met. Okay, and who talked to who first?
So I was more reserved, calm, observant. So I was watching and looking and always keeping a good posture. And she came and talked to me. Hello, Kimo. To a vehicle mirror. I was walking behind her. And that's when we had our first conversation.
Yeah, so basically what happened was we used to go on Fridays on like sports day. It could be swimming or basketball or football, depends on what they want us to do. But on this week, we were going on basketball, but we had to go to the other college to go there. So I was walking in front and I saw him in a car mirror thing. Before that, we didn't say a word to each other that week. So I knew his name, and I knew he was never going to say his name first or say hello first, because he was very quiet and shy, which was my type. So I said hello to him. I saw him and I said, oh, hello, Kimo. And that is how our conversation started. Yeah. So another question is, what was our first impression of each other when we first met? What do you think about me when you first met me?
My first impression was she's smart. She seemed to answer all the questions in class. And she was really good with numbers, which is really good. And she was quite feisty, but she was good. She was a good person, so that was good as well. And what else? Yeah, she's a nice girl. She's just good. She has a nice shape. And yeah, so it was all the above.
Yeah, for me, when my first impression was about him was because when I first met him, he was very quiet. Very shy, doesn't speak unless spoken to. But just looking at him, he was very mature, looks like someone who has a good heart. He was easygoing. I could see that from the start. And I felt like we're going to get along. And I found him very attractive. So I know I was going to speak to him. That was my first impression of him. Yeah, so who asked who out first and how?
So fast forward a little back. Before we asked each other who was friend first.
Yeah.
So I know a little bit about her. She knows a little bit about me. And we used to walk to the same bus stop. So we'd walk from college down to the main center. From there, we'd take bus separate. And then when the weather started to get warm, we used to walk to the park. And then from the park to her bus stop, she goes home. And then I jump on my bus and go home. And then it started from the park. And we had a good conversation. And we asked her the question. Well, she asked her the question.
Of course I have. So what happened? I'll give you more details about that. So what happened is from April to November, we were like best friends. We hang out all the time. Like people actually thought we were dating at the time, but we weren't. So he was very good actually at taking me home. We used to go home together. So he'll take me all the way to my house and then go home. So we hang out a lot and we used to talk a lot and we loved going to the park. So we spent a lot of time having conversations. And I found with time, I was falling more and more in love with him. So in my culture, we don't actually ask guys out first. So that's why it took me that long to ask him out. Because in Gambia, we have to wait for the guy to ask us out first, because that's just how we were brought up. But he was so shy and so quiet. I could tell there was an attraction between us, but I didn't think he was going to ask me out. So I gathered the courage and I asked him out first, which, how did that go, babe?
So as usual, we were at the park having a conversation.
Actually, the park was the second day.
Yeah, so we were at the park having a conversation and we were going home. I think we held hands and then I think we kissed as well. I think that obviously sparked the interest of being together in a relationship.
Actually.
And she asked that question. And I said, what do you think? Then she said, we are in a relationship. I said, yes.
All right, he's being too nice. I will give you the actual story that happened. So, the first time I asked him out was we were going home, we were on the road, and I kind of told him I liked him. But I think it took him by surprise or something like that. And he's like, I don't know, I don't want to ruin the friendship we already have. So in a way, he flat out rejected me. So the next day I went, I'm not gonna ask him out. We're just gonna be friends. But we were walking to the park and we were holding hands and we were getting very close. And I felt like we still had that intimate kind of emotional feeling towards each other. So when we went to the park, we sat on a bench and we were looking at each other. And he looked at me and he said, you know, you can kiss me if you want. So that was it. No questions asked. I kissed him and then we started holding hands, and from that day onwards, we just became boyfriend and girlfriend. So that was how it happened. Okay. How did our family react to us dating?
My family is pretty much like me. They're easygoing. And when they find out and they get to know her, they say she's a nice girl, she has manners, and she can take care of stuff. And they say, whatever I do is my choice, and I made my bed, start laying it. So yeah, that was pretty much it, to be honest.
Well, for me, it's the total opposite, because like I said, I come from a very, very cultural background in Gambia. We are Mandinkas, and we have that culture where unless it's someone you're going to get married to, a husband, you don't really introduce them to their parents. It's not very common. So for him, when we started dating, I think my sister was the first to find out, but my mom and my dad didn't find out. Well, my mom found out like a couple of years later. Yeah. And with my dad, the amount of times we had to avoid that subject, because it's just awkward talking to your dad about your boyfriend, because we don't do that. So the first time I genuinely introduced him to my dad was a week before we got married. That's the first time I talked to my dad about it. And this was years later.
That's how many years after?
I feel there's a question about how long we've been dating, so I'm not gonna say how many years later, but we'll say it in a couple of questions from now. Oh, that's the next question actually. How long have we been dating?
So we've been dating since 2014, November.
Do you know the date?
November the 19th.
Oh, he's good.
And yeah, till today date, 2024.
So it's been
June.
yeah, but it's been
June
9
2nd.
years and
June
6
2nd.
months at this moment that we've been officially dating. So yeah, so my dad only found out in October of last year. That was when we were officially ready to say we want to be married.
Why is that?
So my dad found out 9 years later.
Why is that?
What?
Why did he find out 9 years later?
I don't know. It was awkward, and I don't know. I was not comfortable telling my dad that I'm dating. But more importantly, we're from different cultures and different backgrounds, but also religion-wise, we were very different. So I didn't have the confidence to tell my parents I was dating a non-Muslim, and from not only that, from Jamaica as well. So that was something I think I was very afraid to tell my dad. So that was the main reason why, really.
There you go, question answer.
Okay. The next question. How do we deal with our religion and cultural differences?
With me, it's always easy and the basic understanding. So when my parents found out she's Muslim, they didn't say anything. They pretty much, there was nothing to it. There's no resistance, nothing whatsoever. So they were just saying, okay, that's nice. And she's from Gambia, and then, yeah. So it was all right. There was no tension and no questioning and none of that. So it was okay.
Yeah, actually, with his parents, because they met me a week after we started dating. Because you introduced me to your parents right after we started dating. They were always very friendly, very nice, very supportive. I never felt out of place with them, to be honest. I kind of watched your brother, who's 9 years old now, grow up. So it was actually like having a second family. It was very natural, very outgoing. But with my side of the family, I kind of had to hide him for so many years. Like even I remember there was time you come to the house and we had to pretend like he was my sister's work colleague, friend. Just so, because my dad asked, and we were like, oh no, he's a friend of my sister. They work together. Like, there's that where we're not very confident in talking to our parents about naturally any guy we date, but especially when the guy is not Muslim or is not from the same country as you or from the same culture as you. So that was that. So how do we deal with it? I mean, now how we deal with it is we're very forward and very honest about who we are, and he had to sacrifice a lot, to be honest. Because you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I mean the sacrifice is just one of the things in life where you choose what battle you want to fight. And I said to myself, that's not a battle worth fighting. And my parents, they didn't mind. Of course, it's my bed. I made it, so I have to lay in it. So once I said that, I know it was okay. And they supported me, no, until forever. So yeah, it was no pressure really. But obviously the change and everybody wanted me to be something else. That was the only one that was a bit
challenging.
That was a bit challenging and troubling, to be honest.
Yeah, so I think for almost 9 years, we went back and forth about how we're gonna deal with the fact that we're not for this separation because of our culture and our religion and our background, and I tried to break it off a lot of times. He's actually very patient with me. The amount of times I was so insecure about our relationship and don't believe we can go any further because of, where we're from. Especially when it started getting serious. And I know that this is going to be a problem because I'm dating someone from a different race, well, not a different race, but different culture and things. It was until about a couple of months ago, when we had a conversation with my mom, and my mom talked about how we just don't get married outside our religion. That's just how it is. And me and him had a conversation, and that was the first time I was truly honest with him, because I used to tell him, oh no, I can deal with this, and I didn't know how to deal with this. And then I told him, honestly, I want to get married to you, but at the end, I don't know if I can leave my family. And he did say, never choose a guy over your own family. But also he also said, I don't want to waste 9 years of our relationship. We've been through a lot, and we've persevered through a lot. So I'll rather do a bit of sacrifice and get married to you than, have to start a whole new relationship. And I think that was the first time I was truly honest with him as well. And I was surprised that he took it really well as well. So yeah, he did all the work actually. Yeah. So that's another question is that's the next question. When did we know we wanted to get married?
So I wasn't rushing to get married, to be honest. It wasn't really something I have on my mind. They always say you get to know somebody when you move in with them. So I was waiting for that. But obviously, with her background, that's not even possible either. So I just left it up to her to make what decision I needs to make, and then that was it.
Yeah. For me, I've known I wanted to get married to him for a very long time, especially when we started getting serious with our relationship. I knew he was the type of guy I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. But when it really became serious for me that I really want to get married to this guy was around end of 2021 and beginning of 2022, when I just moved out of my home and I had to go through all those changes. And he was there. He's always been there. He's always been my rock. But this was a time where we were more close to each other, we spent time talking, being more open about the future and all that. That's when I really know I wanted to get married to him. So around 2 years ago is when I truly was like hinting like we should get married. And the minute he proposed, that was it. He lost any opportunity to back off. Yeah. So another one. How did our families react when we told them we wanted to get married?
My family wasn't surprised. They were happy, and they were supportive as usual. And my dad was like, yeah, you expected that. And my mom said, well, you get married before me. So yeah. And I was well.
Yeah. In terms of his family, I remember we were in the car.
Yeah.
One time.
Yeah.
With all of us, every one of them, the sister, the brother, the mom and dad. And we were just talking about the past. And then we talked about your brother. And then he just turned 9. And then I was like, I was there when he was born. And then his dad looked at him and was like, what are you waiting for? And I remember that was when he, started getting serious about it. For me, how did my family react? So I actually, when we got engaged, I didn't actually tell my family about it. I told my two closest friends in the world, actually, and they were very happy about me. My sister suspected because I had a ring on my finger. So but I denied it for a while. So when I truly told my mom about it was after you had that conversation with my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when I told my mom about it. So 2 weeks before we actually got married, my mom, my older sister, my younger sister, we all kind of went to my dad. I let my mom lead, actually. And then my sisters led, and I was at the back because this was the first time I was ever telling my dad I have a boyfriend. So I was all the way at the back. So my mom told my dad about, someone wants to get married to your daughter. That was me. And then they started smoothing it out. They're like, they've been together 10 years. He's really a nice guy. He's Jamaican and all this. And I was so surprised. My dad was like, oh, great. When is he coming? I was like, what the? He was all chilled about it. And I was worried for nothing. So that was how, actually.
I think her dad already knew about me, so he wasn't surprised.
He did,
So he already
actually.
had info and a few extra wherever he got in it. So I think that's what he already made his mind up, to be honest.
Yeah, and before that, actually, around those times, during those months, he kept. Remember, I told you, I think my dad wants to sell me out to get married because he kept asking, "Do you have a boyfriend? When are you getting married?" and all that. He never asked me those questions. So I remember I told her, I swear, my dad wants me to get married for some reason. So I think for him, it was like it's about time. So when is he coming at that point? Because remember, I'm almost close to my 30s, so I think it was like, yeah, she needs to get married. All right, next question. How did we celebrate our wedding? Did you add your own culture or anything like that?
To be honest, I like everything free flowing, so everything combined together and they work as one. When I say culture, I mean we're a more open side of people, so it was all right. Everything was just in balance when it comes to culture. Food was there, music was there, and everything was all right. So can you complain?
Yeah, so in terms of our wedding, because I remember I asked him, I told him, is there any cultural aspect in that I need to include? And he told me that they're free going. Like as long as there's a celebration and there's unity, that's all they really do. So it ended up being more of my culture, actually. So we had 4 different celebrations. Two of which were mine. So we had our first wedding in October, and that was like a small wedding where we go to the mosque, get our wedding kind of ordained, get our marriage certificate, and then we had a small wedding, like family gathering. We booked a whole restaurant, and it was lovely. Actually, that was actually, I think you said that was your favorite one.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, that was. Then, a couple of months later, in December, I had my bridal shower, actually, which was fantastic. My bridesmaid is awesome, by the way. I couldn't even pay her. All my bridesmaids, actually, my maid of honor, my bridesmaids, everyone was amazing. They did the best they can. I can never say thank you enough to them. So we did this thing where we booked a whole house and we really celebrated. I mean, your sister, actually, that was the first time I felt like she got really close to everyone, and I was very happy about that. And then we had my henna night, actually. That is more like a traditional, almost bridal shower kind of thing where the men are not allowed to come in, which he had a lot to say about. He's like, why are men not supposed to be there? Wait, you have a DJ, you have a singer that's a man. I was like, the singer is like a guy who gets...
He's a man.
He's still there. The singer is like a guy who the songs get passed down from his father to him to his son, so it's like only they do it. They call them gewel in my language. The gewel, they kind of like do that kind of thing. And the DJ was just the DJ we hired for the whole wedding, so that was why they were there. The cameraman was also a guy, so they were the only 3 that were men in there. The rest, everybody was a woman. So after that one happened the night before our actual ceremonial wedding, which was like huge. And then the wedding itself happened after that night, and that was crazy. Like, it was crazy in a lot of ways. But how did you feel about that one? Because that was more celebration. We had a whole lot of people came, your family side, my family side. Yeah, the second wedding.
Yeah, the second one was good. It's we all had the whole culture mix, both families. And the food was nice as well. The cake was good. Yeah. Well, half of it was melt due to it being under the heater. And
that was a disaster.
But everything was good. The camera was good. The music was good. The games was good. The family get along. And we all had peace. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I mean, with the end that one, everybody, including us us Gambians, everybody gave me reviews like we've not been in a wedding like this before. This is like so organized, so many space, everybody can dance but yet have time to actually celebrate the wedding. There was so many food. I mean, everybody's still recommending that they eat the curry goat. People were
Yeah.
obsessed with the Jamaican curry goat for some reason.
Yeah, the curry goat and the rice and peas.
Yeah, and the rice and peas. I mean, some people had like takeaways because the curry goat was
And
amazing.
the shrimp.
Yeah, so that was a lovely one because there was a mix of his culture in a way and mine together, and we've never had a wedding like that, so I was very happy about that. So yeah, that was how we did our wedding. All right, 1 second. Another question: what is your favorite thing I do for you?
I think the caring aspect. She's very caring, and that's always a good thing, and nurturing. So I could always count on that if I'm not in any good health. And she's kind, so that's really good. There's many other, but that's just the basic and the obvious standard.
Well, again, like you said, there's a lot of that, but simply one thing I think surprisingly, even today, 10 years later, almost 10 years later, is how protective he is. He's very aware. I'm very clumsy. I think that's made him more in tuned, but he's very protective. It's almost like he knows when I'm about to fall, or like even when he's sleeping, if I move off the bed, he's like grabbing me because it's just in his instinct. I love that there's that. He's still very caring to me. He respects me. And also, he involves me in every choice of his. Like, I can always rely on that. And we're very good at communicating. We do have our on and offs, but we're very good at communicating, which I love. I love that about him. Because in my culture, it's kind of like the man and the woman, where the man is the provider of the house, and the woman is kind of like the one who bears the children, takes care of the houses and all that. But with him, we moved past that because we're more a team than anything else. Everything we do together. We talk about it. We do it together. We're always involved in each other's futures and present and past, and I love that because it's not something I'm very familiar with. Yeah. And the other thing, another question: what is your favorite moment of us together?
I think when we were younger, when we met, I think we're always all over the place. We see a lot. We've been to a lot of places. London, outside of London, Wales, Scotland, Ireland, all over the place, innit? But now we're more adult type, and now in a certain places for more safety reason and stability. So yeah, I think more I'm a younger version of us. But overall, everything is just as it should be.
Yeah, for me, my favorite moment of us is actually the trip we took to Ireland and Wales, because let me tell you a bit about that. So we went to Ireland on our 8th anniversary because
So it was Scotland first.
Scotland.
So it was it was
No. 8th anniversary, we didn't go to Scotland, did we?
No, we went Scotland first, and then the day after when we came back, we went to Ireland. From Ireland, we went to Wales.
Okay, so we went to Scotland and we drove to Scotland.
Yeah.
7 hours. That was interesting. I was okay, but he had to drive. So, but that was a nice change. We never traveled before that. We never like literally physically traveled for days and stuff. And after that day, the next day we went to Ireland. And we missed 2 flights on that one. which was crazy. We missed our first flight. They told us to go down, pick another flight that they said was this time, like it was 8:30. We went and bought that flight, and they told us we couldn't get into that flight because it was like half an hour. I feel like I panicked so much because we spent so much money on that day. But lucky for us, you talked to someone and they gave you back your money for the second one and let us take a flight for 9 something for the first flight he bought, for the first tickets he bought. So that was good. We ended up going, but it was all over the place in that flight. I'll never forget that. So we went to Ireland, had a great. There's a vlog for it if you want to check it out. There's a vlog in my YouTube for that. We finished that. We came back on the same day because we spent a couple of hours in Ireland. Came back the same day. The next day we traveled to Wales for a couple of days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we traveled to Wales, and that was another amazing trip because we did that by car as well, and we visited a lot of places. Yeah, so my 8th-year anniversary was the best. It was an amazing experience for me. Next question: when was I most proud of myself? When were you most proud of yourself?
I think there's two main aspects. My achievement in college was doing really good, and my attendance and everything, that was really good. I was proud of that. And then forward a bit more further, my work ethics and maintenance with money and supporting what's around me, and have a helping hand to give to everybody that actually need it. I think that I was proud of that as a work person with my work ethics. That was good.
Yeah, for me, my most proudest moment was in 2022 January. It was when I finally moved off my parents' house and went to what they call that, accommodations for school, university. Um, what made me so proud of that moment is it was the first time I was stepping out of the real world on my own without my parents' protection, without being in that bubble. So I got to experience things for the first time, like having to make decisions for myself, what food I should buy, when I have to go to work, how I'm going to pay my rent. Those are all aspects I had to decide. But I also discovered a lot about who I am as a person, not just who I pretend to be, but who I really want to be in. And I don't know, he said I changed a lot during that time, but I was going through phases. This was the first time I was on my own, and I was 25 years old at the time. So yeah, 25, out of the house. So obviously I went through a lot of emotions, and he was on the sidetrack a little bit. I kind of sided him a little bit, but I was discovering myself. Like, I remember the first time I decided, I just woke up, I was like, I want to go to the movies. And I remember I came back and I told my friend, this was the best day of my life. Like, I had to decide this on my own. It felt like freedom. That was the first time I felt like I was an adult in a way. Like, I got to choose for myself. So yeah, that was the proudest moment of my life, actually. Okay, next question. Can you see us growing all together?
Well, we're already growing old together anyways. And yes, I can see us growing old together. And yes, we are going to grow old together.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. I mean, nobody knows the future for sure, but if I can see us growing all together, that is a yes, 100% yes, because this man will hold my hand through thick and thin. That I believe in 100%. And I know that we will support each other. I mean, there's going to be days where he wants to rip my head off or I want to rip his head off, but I genuinely see him as the person I'm going to be with for the rest of my life. So yeah, that is a yes. Question: what fears or insecurities do you have about our relationship, if there's any?
Um, I don't really have many, but I think me is just outside influence, and
For you or me?
just for the relationship in general, just outside influence, and that's it, really.
I mean, for me, when we were like in our dating times, I had a lot of insecurities. You know that.
Yeah.
I didn't trust that we will be here together. today like we are. I didn't believe that there was a future for us. That this was, and that caused a lot of insecurities, a lot of what ifs, and lots of me trying to break up with him because I didn't believe we could be here. And that had to do a lot with our cultures and our background and our religion and all that. I didn't really trust that this will happen. But for now, actually, I feel the most strongest in our relationship. And I don't know, I don't have any insecurities anymore, which is true, actually. All right. Another question. How do we handle conflict or disagreements?
Uh,
How do you handle it in your perspective?
I don't really care, to be honest. And I have a strong mind for protection and protecting myself. So I always, deep in my conscious, I'm always thinking, how am I going to protect myself from this? And the best way is to not get my emotions involved. And I said before, I don't really care. And I expect argument and I expect disagreement. It's just how I'm going to handle it when it comes. And that's how I see it. So I always say the hard truth and let it go. And then she will take it from there and say 1 million different things.
Oh wow, thank you. Yeah, I mean, with him, he's more chill than me. Sometimes he can blow off steam more than me too.
Yeah, I do a heavy one and then that's it.
Yeah, he has the thing where I will go off and he will be quiet for a while, but when he blows off steam, he really blows off steam. But how do we deal with it? For me, he will know this. When we argue, especially about something that I feel like we've argued about before, I am very good at. I learned from an early age, early time with him, that
And
when
by the
I'm
way,
angry,
it's not even an argument. She talks more than I do. So I don't
I
know
do
if that's an
talk.
argument.
see, he's no, but I'm saying my side anyway.
Yeah.
So from our early relationship, I learned I'm very hot tempered and I say things that I shouldn't be saying in a relationship or things I might regret later. So I learned from that. So when I blow off Steve, he knows this now. When I feel like I've had enough and I might say something, I go, you know what? I don't want to talk about this right now, and I will go off my own space, like literally just try to cool down myself. When I'm much calmer, I will go wherever he is and I'll be like, do you want to talk about this or do you want to do this? And we'll communicate about it. I'll say how I feel about it. He'll say how he feels about it. We don't always agree about how it went down, but at least we talk about it and we learn from it, and I think we grow from it. We are better at it when we communicate. So yeah, I think that's how I deal with it. I just calm down and communicate with him and tell him how I really felt about what he said or what words he used, really. Okay, next question. Sorry, 1 second. One question. Next question. How would you describe our love story in 3 words? Just 3 words. You got to think about this one, huh? Should I start?
So, first word, adventurous. Second word, mysterious. Third word is evolution.
Yeah, definitely evolution. I agree with that. For me, I would say unwavering. We're very committed to each other, and we don't waver, especially now. Hello, we have a visitor. Do you mind?
No, carry on.
Yeah. So hi. I got distracted. So one question for me is unwavering. Another one is communication, and the third one is just trust. We have a lot of trust with each other. So those are my 3. And the final question: what advice would you give other couples dealing with similar issues?
I think my advice is you have to know the situation and assess it, and then you have to be the opposite, because both of you can't be the same, as it won't work. And with that being said, you have to also have a strong mind and know that this is what you want to work out. If it's benefit for both of you, then you have to just fight for the peace.
Yeah.
There's no peace without war, so you have to prepare to do that.
Yeah. For me, I think it's more open communication from the beginning. I think it's very important that if you're having different, it can be different anything, but like specifically different backgrounds, different religions, even different races, different cultures, or anything like that, or any differences you think might be a hindrance to you guys being together. I feel like it's very important that you guys communicate this very early on, because I think the biggest thing is I wasn't very honest with him about a lot of what was around my background in a very early on stage. I always say, oh, we will deal with it when the time comes. But the problem is we didn't deal with it on time, and it caused a lot of problems. I feel like communication very early on is very important, because you know where you stand and they know where they stand. And if it's better to communicate then than when it's very deep in the relationship. So yeah, communication is my thing. Just communicate as much as you can. All right, guys. So this was all the questions and all the answers we had. I hope you enjoyed it. This was interesting, actually. I like talking about this. It felt like therapy in a way. But yeah, this was lovely. If you guys want to see more of it, or you want to ask us more questions specifically, write it in the comment section and we will answer as much as possible. And yeah, so this is it for the vlog. Thank you for listening, and if you're still here, thank you, and we will see you in the next vlog, and we're signing off. You want to say anything?
Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you for watching, and if you want the more of this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. And bye, guys. Say bye.
Bye bye.
See you later. Yeah.